Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our second session for MIS, CMPS 3012. The agenda for this evening is to have a recap of session one. I know some persons weren't able to make it out to our first session, so we're quickly going to go over just some housekeeping for their benefit. We'll be navigating Moodle again because some changes have been made to the page, and we'll be going over discussion questions in our session today, as well as the expectations for your upcoming assignments. So for those who didn't get to meet me last class, which was Monday, my name is Mrs. La-Dene Forrester Lambe. I love people, technology, traveling, and education, and my job is to deliver excellence in tertiary education, research, and service. I'm so glad that you guys were able to make it out tonight in the comfort of your home or wherever you are. So when we met on Monday, we spoke about management information systems. Now let's see who is paying attention. Management information systems, MIS, is the study of blank, blank, and blank, and the relationship among them.
Technology.
Technology, very good.
People.
Very good.
And organization.
Excellent. So you guys were paying attention. I love that. So if you remember those three words, and you might be able to use the acronym TOM, or sometimes we will use people instead of management. It's referring to the same thing. So you could say TOP or TOM to remember this acronym. Organizations exist to add value with their technologies that they invest in. And so there's another way that students have come up with to remember this entire definition. They've used the spot a rat as a mnemonic to remember the entire definition. So S refers to study of people, organizations, technology. A refers to and, rat refers to relationships among them. So that's another way that you can remind yourself of the definition of MIS. At the end of the course, you need to know what MIS is. Otherwise, you would be telling me that I wasted my time. And I don't believe you're that kind of students, right? So like I said, it adds value to an organization. And in adding value, we might look at financial value, or we might look at the values in terms of the mission, the vision, and the overall objectives of organizations, because every organization might not be a for-profit. Some of them might be non-profit or volunteer organization. Now, how does technology add value? Now, this takes us to whether or not you guys had the time to look at the interactive slides. On the screen, you will see that I have an acronym called COINS, and if you have done the interactive slides in the chat section, you could just put one of the icons, the emojis, or you can write done. Okay, if you've done the interactive slides on Moodle, just type done or use one of the emojis. All right, so it seems that none of you have gotten to do those slides as yet. Now, these slides are going to allow you to be able to, okay, one person, excellent. Two, okay. These slides are going to help you with preparing your first forum. And we've done it in such a way that they're short videos prepared by the course coordinator. And he summarizes major points and terms from the chapter so that if you're reading the chapter and you're not quite sure what you should pay attention to, he summarized it in those videos. Now, the interactive slides, you'll find them on Moodle looking something like this. And I'm going to take you to them in just a minute so that you are familiar with them. For those who weren't here as well, this course is broken down into 3-week segments and 5 cycles of those 3-week segments. Every first week is where we discuss theory and we go over things that you should know. Week 2 is where we do practical sessions. You would have presentations in that week. And the final week would be research. So every week, we'll be doing a different type of assessment or a different type of activity, I should say. And this is how we add value in the course. So this is the CMPS course page, and I believe by now everybody should have access to it. The requests that came in for, persons who were not getting access, those were sent to ODL, and I'm believing that by now they were resolved. So on the course page, you will notice that we have two sections, well, three actually. There is Dr. Ryan's section, and then he has his resources here, but my resources are immediately after. So here is the classroom link, and most of you were able to come in. And I'd like you to pay attention to the course facilitators and syllabus. So when you click on that, it's going to open a page that takes you to the different facilitators. So the first you'll see is the course coordinator, and you'll recognize his face because he records many of the videos that you're going to see on the page. Then there is my section, and I have two sections of this class. So you're able to download your course outline depending on the section you're in. You're in section 2.1, but the course outlines are the same with the exception the dates are different because you have different class times. We were looking at breaking you guys into groups. Now the link for the groups are, you would be able to find that right here. You are section OS 2.1. And when you click on that, it's going to open up the sheet that we started working on. Right? Yes. So at the end of the class, we're going to come back to this sheet and make sure everybody has been assigned to a group so that next week we have no delays and no lag. All right, I see one person was able to successfully find it. Once again, under the course instructor, the course facilitators and syllabus, that's where you'll find your respective groups, and you'll be able to go there and add your name to that list if you're not already in a group. Now I'm going to take you to the forums where you can find them on the course page. So there's unit 1, and like I said, this week is theory, so you're going to see that there. Under theory, there are 3 sets of interactive slides, and these slides are the same that you will see here. You will see course overview slides, that's this one. Any of them that has H5P, those are what we call the interactive slides. And they give you short nuggets of the entire chapter that you're looking at. So if you're not the type of person who likes to read the entire chapter, it helps if you watch these videos. The key terminologies, that's this one here, chapter 1.1 key terms and concepts. This interactive slide is going to help you to be able to respond to forum 1 very well. And of course, there's the content. So some of the key terms, you guys already know what MIS is. It's the relationships between organizations, technology, people, or management, right? And this is one of the most important things you're going to learn. And we break the course content into these 3 domains. You'll be looking at technology last. Primarily, we start looking at the organization and people for most of the course. And then we see how the 3 of them in their relationship can add value. So how may organizations add value with the technologies that they invest in? Well, first of all, we need to know what value is. So let me hear from you guys. What is value?
Yes, it would be like the importance or the regard that we place on something, an item, a person, or in this case, like a system.
Very good. All right. Value has many dimensions. We use the acronym COINS. All right. And so COINS, when you think of money, you think of value as well. But this was an acronym that some students came up with, and they're saying, you know, this is one way to remember these important strategic business objectives of information systems. And this is how we look at value in information systems. So there are 6 of them. And you'll notice that COINS, the acronym we have here, has 6 letters. And each of these correspond to one of the 6 strategic business objectives of information systems. So we have C for customer and supplier intimacy. And then this looks at, and the name is really self-explanatory, but we're looking at the customers we're serving. At the University of Belize, you are our customers, have a responsibility to give you the best possible service. This makes us have an advantage over other universities if we're able to serve you well. So some of the ways that we serve you is by offering online classes, so that persons who have to work or, they don't have the most flexible schedule, you're still able to attend classes and do your work online. And you'll notice at UB, we have different types of courses. You have those that are the asynchronous versus the synchronous to accommodate different types of learners. The other C is for competitive advantage, and I kind of tapped into that a while ago. It looks at the results from achieving previous business objectives. We look at some of the advantages that you have over the competitors. Now, I want you guys to think about some of the universities that we have here in Belize. We have, or even junior colleges. We have UB, we have Galen, St. John's. What are some things that you think gives UB an edge over Galen or St. John's, if you know anybody going to these institutions?
They have more branch locations.
Okay, very good. So that's one distinguishing feature. Anything else?
Affordability.
Very good. Affordability. All right, so you guys are thinking. These are two very good examples that we can use to show how this particular institution has a competitive advantage over others. And if we were to even go outside of Belize and look at UB compared to some of the other universities outside, again, affordability is one of those things that gives us an advantage here. So I have a question for you guys. Which of the following may lead to a competitive advantage? Is it A, B, or C? And you can type your answers in the chat.
Yes, all of the above.
Okay, so I see, yes, you are correct. All of the above. So that was really just a trick question. Okay, so we have new products and services giving us an advantage, charging less, or like somebody said, affordability, and of course, responding to customers in real time. People want to know that they matter, and so we must respect their time. Okay, very good. So we move on to the O in coins. So we looked at the two C's, now we're moving on to the O, operational excellence. All right, and when we look at this, I have the words efficiency and profits emphasized here, because operational excellence is going to pay attention to efficiency. We're looking at results. At the end of the day, how are we achieving these objectives that we have laid out at the start of the year, or whatever goals you might have had? We're looking at profits. People get into business to make money. And for those who are not in it for money, they might have other goals to make the world a better place, but they want to see results. Are we achieving these things that we set out to achieve? So we use our information systems and the technologies to help to improve the efficiency and productivity. And what happens in many of our first world countries is that they use analytics. So they're going to take the data and use it to predict trends and find out how they can improve the product and how can they make these services better. Now, in Belize, we don't often do that in many of our organizations. We simply use the data, we analyze it, but we just keep it for the next year. We might not use it to improve the product, but simply to have it to show how well we performed or how we did not perform. And so this is one of the things that we see happening in some of our first world countries. So we're moving on to I, improve decision making. This ties right into the point that we looked at earlier, operational excellence. Operational excellence also helps us to make those decisions. When we have the data, we can look at it and make better decisions, right? And like I mentioned, in Belize, we don't often use the data for that. We gather the data, yes, and we might analyze it, but in many cases, we're not using it to improve our day-to-day operations and to help our managers who are at the top of the organizations to make better decisions. Sometimes we see our organizations operating very disjointed, so to speak. So the persons with the data might have it, but then it's not being used to inform the managers who need to make the decisions. And the managers might not be listening to the persons holding the data because of their level in the hierarchy. When we have bureaucracies, we see this happening. The top level management might not necessarily take feedback from lower level managers, etc. And there are different reasons why this happens. Sometimes it's just the delay, the long process to get through all the red tape, right? So all of this results in poor outcomes, raise costs. We lose customers when these things happen. And real-time data really does improve managers' decision-making ability. All right. So we're going to look at the end. New products, services, and business models. New products and services, information systems and technologies enable firms to create new products, services, and business models. Really, the business model is just how the company produces, delivers, and sells their products and services. So with information systems, you're able to come up with new ways to serve your customers. You're able to find out what their needs are. And based on the needs, you might be able to find a product or service that meets that need if it's in your niche. Survival. Businesses, like I said earlier, exist to make profits, but they must be able to compete and survive. They might need to invest in several things, including an information system, simply for the cost of doing business. This pandemic, if it has shown us anything, it's how unprepared we were as a nation to deal with the technological gap that we had to learn to bridge. Globalization has brought us together as a world. It's made the world just one level playing field. And the internet's ubiquity has allowed us to be able to do business online and communicate where we can have this class because of the internet. But without having the proper resources and the proper training, we could fall behind. There was this country, just a minute, Kenya. They had already done e-governance and they were doing everything online. So this pandemic didn't affect them. But many of our businesses here in Belize would have been affected since we weren't exactly engulfed or practicing these online practices. And so for schools who were already having online sessions, they would have been able to easily adapt and survive. All right, so Kenya, you had your hand up. Okay, so on Moodle, like I mentioned, your assignment will be to go over the interactive slides when we end the session tonight. And you guys, in your project groups, you're going to be discussing chapter 1, but what will be submitted on Sunday of this week are forums 0 and 1. Like I told you, you can't do forum 1 without finishing the interactive slides, okay? So you guys are going to be using the time, the remainder of the time, to go over those on your own. Next week, we are going to actually be building a website in class together using Google Sites. And so we have the tutorial. If you have the time and you want to go ahead of the class, that's up to you. But on next week, Monday, we're going to be doing that in class together. And then by Sunday of that week, your entire website project becomes due. So as a group, you guys are going to decide who is going to do what part of it, who is going to work on adding pictures to your website. It's really easy and it's really simple. And I have an example of one of those projects just to show you. Yes, Chelsea, I see your hand.
Good night. I believe Miss Kara came out of the, our group, so we are short of a group member.
Okay, we're going to address that before we go. Yes, go ahead.
It's because I saw when I went on the Excel sheet, I saw that you placed an asterisk right there that I'm supposed to join another group, which is why I went ahead and joined another group.
Yes, when we were setting up the class, I didn't realize that that group had 6 persons, right?
Yes, quick questions. I was not here on Monday, right? So,
Yes.
for the groups, it's just that we enter our names in any of the groups there, or we just have to ask the leaders there first.
On Monday, I was asking persons to tell me what group they wanted to be a part of. And tonight, you're just going to add your names to the spaces available if you are not already in a group, okay? So I'm just gonna go back and show you where you can do that. Also, for the leaders of those groups, you will need to share your contact information. It's right here under course facilitators and syllabus. So you look for my name, and you guys are section OS 2.1. And there, you're just going to put in your name. Now, like I mentioned, the group should only have 5. When we were selecting persons, I didn't realize that this group was already maxed out. So Kyra, I apologize for that, and Chelsea also.
Okay, then, Miss. Thank you for
Okay, ma'am.
explaining.
Yes. In Forum 1, you're looking at what are the academic disciplines that are used to study information systems and how each of them contributes to your understanding of the system. You're also going to think about courses you've done that might fall under these subcategories, as well as courses that you may do in the future, or maybe you haven't done as yet, but that can also fall into those categories. So if anyone has already watched the interactive slides, they would already know what these disciplines are. They're broken down into 2 categories, and they cover several different domains as we look at them. So I'm just going to share that slide with you quickly if you haven't looked at it as yet. So we have technical approaches and behavioral approaches, but the disciplines now are all these that we see listed here inside. For example, psychology looks at the management and people, right? Psychology deals with people. And then we also have sociology dealing with people. But then you might have organizations looking at management science, looking at organization and how we lead effectively, etc. We also have technology, and under computer science, you might find technology falling there. But what are some courses that you've done over the course of your studies, whether in high school or tertiary education? You might have done some computer courses, maybe even preparing a Microsoft Word document is one of those that I know the university offers to students. You might have done some other aspects of economics. You might have done accounting. So you will list the courses that you've done that relate to these disciplines in your forum post as you explain away, right? So that forum 0 and 1 are due on Sunday. Some students already started submitting forum 0, so it's good that you guys are on task. For forum 0, you are allowed to record a video and send me the link only. For forum 1, however, remember, follow your rubric, put in your citations, etc., so that you get your points. Okay, don't give away your points. All right, so here you will see the rubric right beneath, so you don't have to go search for that. You must respond to 2 pairs to get your 30 points, and your citations and references count for another 10 points. Okay, any questions so far?
We have to respond for the Forum 0 as well, Miss? For
Yes.
introduction?
Yes.
Okay.
It breaks it down. So if you list the disciplines, I just gave you the disciplines, you get your 10 points already, right? If you list courses that you've taken, that's 15 points. If you list courses you have not taken, 15 points. If you've listed the importance of those related courses to MIS, 15 points. So it's really easy to get points for these forums. You just have to make sure you read the question well, answer it well, and of course, use citations. So if you use the textbook, let that not be the only citation I see on your forum post, please. And your citations must be in APA format. You're university students, and so we want to see you maintain that standard of giving professional documents and showing that you really understand how to reference your work well. For the practical project, that's going to be discussed some more on next week, right? So what you will be doing when we end this class tonight, you're going over these slides so that you can work on Forum 1. And in your group, some of you have created chats already. You are going to share your responses to these questions. So when we meet on next week, Monday, I will be asking you, by group, to tell me what responses you have to each of the questions here. All right. Are there any questions?
Forum 1 is individual work, right?
Right. All your forums are individual.
Alrighty, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's go back to the list of students who need to join a group. Okay. Group 6 and 7 still has no persons. Is there anyone in the class who is not yet assigned to a group?
Me, Miss Khadisha.
Khadisha. All right. So Khadisha, I'm going to, because I don't want to spell anybody's name incorrectly. So I'm going to ask you to access the page and put in your name under group 6 or 7. Apart from Khadisha, is there anyone else?
Me too, Miss.
All right. What's your name? I'm not seeing
Yo,
it.
Moroccan.
Okay. Xiomara, same thing. So you're going to go in and then just put it in the document so that we can have your name there. All right. So that's 2 persons.
Me, Vashti, Miss.
Vashti as well. All right. I see 1 person already typing. Okay. So you can access the document, and I want to make sure that you have each other's contact as well so that you can start working on the project. All right, next week we're gonna do the projects, but you need to at least have each other's contact this week. Here's on syllabus. And then you'll notice it says table of contents to the right-hand side. You're going to select the second name there, or second course instructor. And under there, you're going to see my name, your course outlines, and under the email address, you'll see groups. Your section is OS 2.1, so you're going to click on that.
Thanks, Miss.
You're welcome. All right, so those of you who are already in groups, I will allow you guys to leave the class, and those who are not yet in a group, I want to stay with you guys to make sure that you do have a group assignment, okay?
One question.
Yes.
So the forums are individual, and the group work, well, the assignment 1, which is the website, will be in groups.
That's correct. All right. So let's make sure everybody understands that every forum you do, that's your personal submission. That's an individual assignment. But all the practical projects like the website will be done in groups. Because we're still working on groups, we haven't done any group projects as yet. All right. So next week, we're going to start our first group project.
Good night, Miss.
All right. Good night.
Cheyenne here. Can the last person that
night.
joined the last person that joined my group, I sent him a direct message in the chat. Anthony?
Yes, I saw your message. I'm trying to send you a message here on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Just a second, please.
All right then.
Okay. Very good, guys. I like that you're proactive and you're working together, even though we're using online means. All right. So you're ending early tonight, like I said, because you have to go back over those interactive slides to work on your forum. All right. So those who still don't have a group, I see Vashti has group 6, Xiomara and Shamika. Can you guys share contacts with each other so that you can create a WhatsApp group and then just be able to communicate? Is there anyone else who still doesn't have a group assignment?
Miss, you could just add me to group 6, please.
Okay,
Or 7.
spell your name for me. Group 7 or 6 you said?
6.
6?
Yes, ma'am.
Spell your name for me.
Kadisha.
Okay, Kadisha.
La-Dene.
Did I
Yes,
spell it
ma'am.
right? Oh, wow. I'm
Yes,
proud of
ma'am.
myself. I'm terrible with names, so y'all will have to bear with me if I mispronounce or misspell your names. Okay, we need a leader for this group, and the leader is just the person that I'm going to communicate with and send information to, okay? Don't be afraid of being the leader. It simply means that if I have questions or if you guys need an appointment, that person will reach out and then we work together. That's all. All right, so Kyra, I think that since you are, I'm not seeing your name. Oh yes, you're here. So let me remove this. You are already in a group. Okay. All right, so who else is still not in a group? Nobody else? All right, so what I will do then, I'm going to use the first name that I see under the leader post. So that will be Vashti. Vashti, I'm going to refer to you as the leader of that group until one volunteers. All right. So we have Vashti, Xiomara, Shamika, and Kadisha. You guys have each other's contact already?
We're sending it on the chat, Miss.
Okay, awesome. All right. So I'm going to take it then that everybody has been assigned to a group and you know who your group members are.
Miss, excuse me. Okay, so just to be clear, Forum 0 and Forum 1 are both due on Sunday. So then that's what we're supposed to be working on right now.
That's correct.
Okay, well, thank you, Miss.
Sure, you're welcome.
Miss, just let me know if I understand good, but for the first Forum 0, are we supposed to respond to two of our colleagues? Or is that just for the first one?
Yes, for all the forums, including Forum 0, you respond to your colleagues.
Okay.
Okay, so the group leaders, this is a good initiative, guys, that you're adding your numbers to this list. That way it's easy for persons to find you. Okay. All right, so we are going to end the live session here so that you can finalize your forums and work on answering those questions for the forum post. And I will see you guys on next week, Monday. Remember, the assignment is due on Sunday, so I believe you have ample time to work on it. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to send me an email.
Okay, Miss.
Okay, Miss. Good night.
Good night, Miss.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Hi, Miss.